All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Kian Singh. I'll be your host for tonight's webinar. This webinar is about Maybank trade. There has been an upgrade in terms of the look and feel of the Maybank trade. And the look and feel has been changed in such a way that it's a little bit uh, extensive in a sense. And so we're going to use this webinar to help you get familiar with the new upgraded look and feel of the Maybank trade. Okay, so those of you who are using mostly the mobile app to trade and monitor the markets, you won't be affected because the mobile app is the same, not changed at all. So those of you who are using the browser platform, yes, there will be some quite a number of changes. So I'm going to take this opportunity to actually refresh some of the functions of Maybank Trade, as well as to show you some of the new enhancement on the Maybank Trade platform. Right. So before we get started, just to get ourselves aligned a little bit about questions and answers and so on and so forth. If we are using the Zoom platform, you'll be joining us using the Zoom platform. So if you want to ask any questions, what you need to do is that you have to move your mouse cursor all the way down to the bottom of the screen. There will be a toolbar there, the Zoom toolbar, and there will be a button that says Q&A, right? If you press on that button, you will see a new window appear. And that new window, basically, you can actually type in your questions. So please feel free to type in questions anytime, and I'll try to answer it along the way, right? So yeah, if you have any questions at all, please type in your questions. I'll try to answer them as much as possible as well. All right, so without further ado, let's look at our new upgraded Maybank trade. All right, so the website that you need to go to is the same as what you can see on my screen, right? It's ktrade.com.sg. Everything's the same. The login page, as you see, is also the same. You will key in your same username. You will also key in the same password that you currently use to enter the Maybank trade. All right, so there's no change in terms of that, right? So it's the same. And you'll be glad to know also that in this migration, so-called migration, your portfolios and your watch list will also be ported over. So you won't lose the changes that you have made in those things, right? So don't need to worry about that as well, right? So what you do is that you will enter your user ID here, where you can see my cursor is, right? And just use your password. You enter the password here as well. Then after that, you click on the login button to get into the new Maybank Trade platform. So it will look, after you log in, it will look something like this, right? So this is what the new Maybank Trade will look like once you have been migrated over, right? So it will look, it's obviously very, very different from the old KE trade, right? These are quite different. Okay, but most of the functions are still there, right? So if you look at the top bars here, right, you have things like market, watch list, portfolio, account management, stocks alert, news, market insight, research, and e-services. Okay, so all these are tabs that you can click on, and basically they'll bring you to the pages that they're meant to bring you to. So example, if you want to look at your watch list, you click on watch list and it will just show your current set of watch lists, right? And it looks very similar to what the old Maybank trade looks like. Function wise is also quite mostly the same, right? So there's not so much in terms of changes in terms of the function, but more like look and feel changes, right? So aesthetic changes, that kind of thing, right? So don't worry, you don't have to have it won't be a very steep learning curve in terms of getting familiar with the new look, right? You can also see that the portfolio itself also looks quite similar to your ones that you see currently, right? You have the unrealized, realized portfolio management and so on, right? All these things I will come back later, but I just want to give you a quick overview before we get really started into the actual functions itself, right? Account management, it's the same. You got your cash accounts and all that. It's also very similar to what you have on your current Maybank trade. We have stock alerts as well, right? Yeah, the stock alerts as well is all there. So if you already have some stock alerts, I believe they will be brought over as well, right? News, yeah, you got your news features here, right? So SGX news and all that will be showing up here as well, just like the old one. Market insight. Those of you who look at who browse the market insight articles frequently and look at the stock picks and the portfolios, right? Yeah, you'll be there too. Research-wise, you have your standard research, your knowledge center, your research reports, value analyzer, technical insight, and strategy builder. All these are still there, right? And of course, e-services, right? And later on, I'll show you where to get to the rewards for some of you who want to check the amount of reward points that you have accumulated over time, right? So you'll be there. Okay, so already I'm getting some questions. Maybe I'll just try to answer some of it before I get started, actually. Okay, so there's a question about the charts. Yeah, I'll go through the charts somewhere towards the maybe the later part of the webinar itself. I'll be quite in depth in terms of the charting platform because it is new. It is not like the old one that you are using on K-Trade or the Maybank Trade right now. So it's there's improvements, a lot of improvement in fact. So I'm going to show you that. Increase the words again. All right, so let me just try to zoom in for you. Right, so I can't zoom in too much, otherwise the look will not be, meaningful. So I'm going to just increase it by 2 zoom levels, so hopefully it's clearer to you now. Right. Okay, you're asking whether the current foresight that you see on your K-Trade, is it still there? It is been replaced by something known as workspaces. And this is pretty much a major change in terms of the platform look. So don't worry about the predefined workspace. I'll have a lot of time to talk to you about the predefined workspace and how you can customize it. It's much easier to customize than your foresight, in fact. It basically allows you to move things around, size it and so on, right? So that is coming up soon, right? So under the watch list, can the order ticket widget be removed? You mean this order ticket? Unfortunately, no. You cannot remove this because this is actually part of the fixed portion of the platform. So all these tabs that I showed you just now, the market, portfolio, account management, these are all the fixed ones. If you want to customize, then it will be under this thing called the predefined workspace or workspaces. Right, you can create your own workspace. There's, as you can see, we have already created some workspaces here. Later on, I'll go into in depth a little bit more about how to create your own workspace, and then you can customize this entire space here. If you don't want to have a order ticket that occupies that much space, you can actually get rid of it. But those tabs that I mentioned about the top here in the top bar, these are all the fixed tabs, so you can't change them actually. Right? So can't change. Only the predefined workspace you can change and customize according to what suits you or what you like or your preference, right? Okay, so let's get started into the platform itself. So I'm going to introduce you to the top bar first. Top bar is the one that has the words Maybank Trade on it with the tiger logo, right? Our logo. And basically here you will see there's a the tickers for the various exchanges that we offer. Right? Okay, so these are all will be when the market's open, it's actually updating, right? You'll be updating, okay, when the markets are open, right? So this is the ticker, right? Beside here, there is a user, okay? Your user kind of like a drop-down menu. So you'll see your username up here and all the accounts that are linked to your username, right? So in this particular example, I have 3 types of accounts here. They got cash, pre-funded, and margin, right? And also we have, next to that, we have the market timings, the market time, whether the market is open, close, and so on, right? SGX actually is closed up, but down here showing up as open. This is a simulator, obviously. So, and then you also have a column here that indicates like RD, DDR, and so on. These are all related to the type of data that you are receiving, whether is it real-time data or D stands for delayed data. All right, so depending on your subscription, some of you may have subscribed to some like real-time data, then you will see that it is R, right? So for SGX cases, it's always R for most people, right? It should be all, in fact. Okay, so some of these are all delayed data, right? And next to that, we have the box, the 8 box, where you will see some of your alerts that have been triggered, or some trade done alerts that have occurred because your trade got done, right? You all be here, like a mailbox. You can keep it, or if you want to delete it, you can of course use the trash can to remove. Or you can select multiple like this, right? And then you can click on the delete button to get rid of the messages that you've already read or taken note of, right? So this is the button that is here. And the extreme right button, which is this one, this is actually the lockout button. So when you are leaving the platform, please use this button to get out. To log out, it will always be good to do that, right? So that's the lockout button there. Okay, so this is the top bar, very simple top bar. And now we will look at the sidebar, right? The one that's on the extreme left bar that's in yellow, right? The one that my cursor is on top right here, right? So for when you first log in, you won't see so many buttons, right? But I've been customizing it a bit, so there will be additional buttons, and I'll also show you how you can actually add on some of these other they are on my screen now. Okay, so the first one on the top left of your sidebar, right, topmost is the search button. Okay, this is a pretty unique, good search button. So you can search for any stock or even index. So example, if you're searching for STI index, you can always type STI, and then they will come out with the basically a list of all those you know, indices or anything that starts with the S, the 3 words STI, right? So it basically gives you a code of prices for that particular stocks that start with that. If you are more specific and you actually have a, for example, a stock code that you know, you can type the stock code out, and then you'll be very specific. You target the actual stock and find it for you, because the stock code is unique, right? You'll see that on your screen. So if you don't want to, you know, go to the market widget, or you don't want to go to your watch list, and you just quickly want to check out prices of stocks that you monitor very frequently or actively monitor, you can always type in the name under the search and you will see the data here, right? So it's not only you know, for local stocks, but if you type a foreign stock like Tesla, for example, right? So you will also bring out the prices and it will show you the data right here. So this is a pretty quick, fast search tool that you can use. In fact, all the search tools that you find in this platform basically react in the same way. You just have to type the word, the names, the starting few letters of the name, or whatever you can remember that's part of the name. Hopefully, it can search for you and bring it out so that you can quickly browse the data that's on this widget, right? So widget basically is a tool, you know. In this case, this is just a quick search widget which we have. Okay, to get rid of it, I can either click the button again, or on the side of this window, top right corner, there is always a cross button for you to click to actually remove that window. All right. So below that, the search buttons, there are some market buttons, basically the exchange buttons. Okay, so this is quick access to the exchange itself. So basically what it does is that if you click on it, right, it will show you the it actually will show you the top gainers and losers, or even the top volume, top loser percent, gainer percent, and so on. Right. So all this is like the rankings, basically similar to the market widget, which just now I showed you. It's very similar to this, right? This widget that we have. But instead of going to that tab, you just simply need to click on SGX and you look for the SGX stocks and show you top volume, top gainers, and so on. Right, so this is a quick one, right? So you can assemble some of these exchanges that you basically look at, or markets that you look at frequently that you're interested in. Maximum number you can have is 5, right? 5 on the sidebar here. Okay, so it includes basically the exchanges right here, and also the indices if you so choose. Right, later on I'll show you how you can configure to change some of these so that you can put the ones that you frequently browse or frequently monitor here instead of the set that I have here. Right, so KLS is the same. Instead of SGX, now it's going to look at the KL exchange as well as New York and so on. So these are the quick market tools that you can search and look up volume, top gainers, and so on. Basically getting a feel of the market and what's going on there. Right, the button that is here is World Indices. Right, so it shows you all the index that of the markets that we offer. Right, same as all, shows you the market data here. Right, then we have below that we have this thing called favorites, right, or rather watch list. Okay, so this is a quick access to your watch list, so that you don't have to go to your watch list tab or what. You just simply click on the watch list on your sidebar, and you can have access to your watch list. As you can see, you can select your watch list from here and look at what's going on the stocks in your watch list as well. Right, so that is for watch list, quick access to your watch list. And then we have this, which is known as your profile. Right, so this is a quick access to your profile, and basically in your profile window, you can do things like change your password. Right, change your password. Right, you have to click edit, and after that go and change your password. Right, and then you can configure your alerts. So those of you who use the stock alerts, right, and you want to have like the alerts sent to you either by SMS or send an email to you, right, so that you can be notified of the alert criteria that has been triggered. Right, so in order for it to send to you by SMS, you need to key in your mobile phone number here. If you need to get your email instead, right, you can key in your email address here. Okay, so yeah, so you have to click on this so that if you want to update your mobile numbers and all that, you need to check the box, and after that click on the save button. Right, so this will help you to configure those important numbers and email addresses so that things like your stock alerts can be sent to you without problems. Right, so there's the configure alerts, and then there is a profile page or profile tab. It takes a bit of time to load the first time. Right, so okay, here you have 2 parts to it. So first is your trading account. So to set which trading account to be your default account, right? So under your username, if you have 3 different types of accounts like this example, right? So you can choose which one to be your default. So what is this default? The default is the account that will show up first, like in the order ticket, right? So in order to change, for example, you want to change it to, let's say, a pre-funded, you have to select the pre-funded first, then click on this checkbox to say that you want it to be your default, and then click on the change button to change it, okay, to change your default. So once you click change, right, so the next time you look at your order ticket or you put in order under your order ticket, you will see that your account will be showing up first, will be the pre-funded account, okay, instead of the cash account like just now. Right, I won't going to change this, but basically the action is very similar to what you get on your current Maybank trade. Right, below that is the second part. Okay, this second part is your trading limits, right? So you can see your trading limits for the various accounts that you hold. For example, the cash, pre-funded, and of course our margin. Right, so if you go to pre-funded, you'll see that there's nothing unless you deposit. Margin also depends on your margin, right? You can see your trading limits right here. Okay, below that, you will see your trading representative. If you need to contact him for some reason, he should be listed out here for each individual type of account. Right, if you need to contact him. right? Or you need to know who it is, right? Yeah, so that you can inform help desk if you need to contact him for some reason. Okay. Okay, the rest, next one, you have your account details like, are you on CDS? Okay, CPF, EPS, Gyro, have you linked all these services to your trading account itself? Okay, CDS, I believe, is for the Malaysian market where you need to have some custody account for the Malaysian stocks that you buy. Right, so below this, we also have the personal details part. Okay, so your name, whether can you trade SIP products or not, your mobile phone number, a home number if you have, office number, and so on. Right, so all these are also basically things that you fill up and save so that we can contact you easier if necessary. Right, so it's all here under this profile. Right, so if you're looking to change some of this information or check out some of this information, come to your profile so that you can check it out. Right, then we have e-statements. I'll show you that later, and we have e-rewards as well. So e-statements is basically the same e-statements that you see under the current Maybank trade. So it is the same look, same feel. Okay, so let me just show you roughly what it looks like. Okay, maybe to zoom this as well. So if you click on this e-statements, it's going to launch another browser page. And you should bring out your what is the current e-statement page looks like right now, the same as what you get on your current Maybank trade. So no changes here. You can do the same things that you used to do. Right, your rewards is here, right? So under rewards, if you click, you'll get a new browser page with your rewards page here as well, right? So you can see what's your current number of points, and if you want to redeem some of your points for some services or treats or something like that, you may do so as well under here, right? So you can redeem your rewards as well here. Okay, so this is under your rewards and stuff like that, right? So okay, then the last little icon or last little button along the sidebar is the settings button. Okay, this setting button is basically to do some configuration related to mostly the entire platform. You know, things like, for example, like language preference, right? Do you want to have English as your language, or if you prefer to look at your data in Chinese, then you can switch to the Chinese mode. And you can see that most of the items here have been switched to Chinese. For example, the titles of the columns, they're all in Chinese right now. Right? You can, of course, switch it back to English. It's instantaneous, don't have to log out. So quite quick. Right? And then, of course, the theme preference, the look of your platform. Is it a light colored look or is it a dark colored look? I'm going to show you the dark colored theme right now. So I click on the dark color. Basically, it changes into somewhat darker, in fact, very much darker than the light color ones. Predominantly black as a background, right, with white words. So for those of you who like this kind of background, you can choose the dark theme, right? As you can see, most of the platform has become darker in color, right, or basically almost black, right? So for those of you who like the darker themes, yeah, choose the dark theme, which is under this, but not very good for presentation. So I'm going to switch it back to the light theme. Okay, then there's table preferences. Okay, table preferences are basically available for your watch list and widget marker widgets. Right, so you can have cells with one row or two rows of data. Right, so if examples just to show you, if you look at your watch list or even this market, you can see that for every column, for every row, there is only one market, one row of data, right? So under name, there's only the name. There's nothing else, right? For each column, there's only one row of data per cell, per entry, per item, right? If I were to change it to the two-row format, right, and close this, you can see that now for some of the columns actually have two rows of data. So just now you have one column for code and one column for name. It has been kind of like compressed so that you now can see that the code and name are in the same column, under the same column. So for the same row for that stock, you can see the code on top plus the name of the stock below. Right, this format usually for people who feel that there's too many columns to look at, and in order to see all the columns, you need to scroll left and right, that kind of thing, and you prefer not to do so. So what you can do is you can actually use a two-column format for two-row format for some of the columns that you have here, right? So just need to see the names. The top corresponds to the top item. The bottom name corresponds to the bottom item. Yeah, right. So this is the two-row format, or if you much prefer a single row column, one row format, you can do that and you look something like this. This is the default. So if you want to make a two-row column, two-row per column format, you need to come to your preferences to make the changes. Okay, next pertaining to fonts, sizes and all that. So we have font sizes, 3 default sizes, right? So the last time I did it with Remender, I left it at large, right? But by default, it should look something like this, right? Okay, so if I go to small, right, it will look smaller, like so, right? So you can see that you can actually adjust the font sizes so that it looks a little bit more suitable for what you prefer, right? So those of you who need maybe a larger font to look at, right? You can use the general font preferences here, right? Later on, I'll show you that you can actually dynamically change the font for some of your widgets as well. And it's not just limited to just these 3 default sizes. You can actually have more fine-tuned in terms of the size of the font that you want. All right, so that is the font preference. Then we have the favorites exchange here. So this refers to this few buttons that I was talking about here, the SGX KLS. So what it does is when you click on this, right, it actually shows the top volume stocks and so on, right? So quickly shows you, when you click straight away, it'll show you, right? So the question is, what do you want to show up here? Okay, which exchanges do you want to show so that you can click quickly to see the top volume, for example, right? So the settings is here under this settings button, right? So you can only pick up to 5, basically, right? So those with the dark star, a darker filled star, it means that it's been selected, so it shows up here. If you want to change it out, for example, you do one NASDAQ, let's say, you can click off, and when it becomes unfilled like this, hollow star, it means that it's no longer selected. You can see that the NASDAQ has disappeared from the set of buttons that's up here. And maybe you want to turn on HKX. Okay, so you can turn on HKX and Hong Kong appears up here now, right? So the changes are instantaneous. Don't really need to save for this kind of settings. Right, so this is the sidebar, quick access bar, basically for things that you may or may not want to quickly access instead of clicking on the tabs as well as going through your workspaces. Okay, so let me just take a look at some of the questions that have come up since I last answered some of them. Okay, is this applicable to pre-funded? You mean the platform change? Yes, it is. Where is the working orders? Meaning to say the order status of orders that you submitted. Yeah, good question. Yeah, so if you look at your predefined workspace like so, you'll find that there is a portfolio and there's this thing called order book. It's already, so your predefined workspace is already having all these widgets here already. So you don't have to preset anything. So the first time you log in, you will see this set of what you see on my screen right now. Okay, so straight away you will have this thing called the order book, which is actually the working order. I think that's what you mean. Okay, in K-Trade, it's known, or rather the old Maybank trade is probably known as order status pagelet, right? So that's now called order book, right? It's under order book, right? Right, so that's here. I think if you go to the portfolio, yeah, if you go to the portfolio tab, you will also see your portfolio up here plus your order book down here, which is basically the order status, or what you call working order place, right? If I have many currency in my portfolio, does it show my money in separate currencies or only in SGD? Yeah, let's basically have a look. Believe you can set. Yeah, so like this case, there's a SGD, there's a some USD, Hong Kong dollars, and Nasdaq USD, kind of separates in a sense, right? Yeah, so it shows up here like this. Okay, this is the new portfolio widget. I'll go through it later on in more detail, right? So hopefully I can come back to your question again later. What is the difference between the watch list on the left-hand bar versus the watch list in the top bar? There's no real differences here. Basically, on the left side bar, it basically allows you to get to the watch list quicker, I suppose. Right. So if you click here, it straight away pops out from the site. In case that you are on another, page or something, and you don't want to disrupt by going to the watch list tab, for example. So you can be looking at your portfolio, but you also want to see your, let's say, your watch list quickly, right? So you can this click here will actually bring out like a panel which you can dismiss later on when you are done with it. Okay. So that actually is better than, say, if you're looking at your portfolio, you want to see your watch list, you click on watch list, you can't see your portfolio anymore. Okay. As far as this widget is concerned, the watch list widget is similar. Can we have today's webinar sent to your email? We are recording. I believe that if you approach your TR, he might or might not be able to get you a copy if you need to review. Can we still use the existing trading platform so that we are not forced to learn new ways to do the same old things? Unfortunately, the answer is no. Right. So the thing is that we are migrating over. I suppose if you want to, make an appeal, you can always ask your TR whether it can be done for your case or not. But as for migrating, once it's migrated over, there's no going back to the previous one. Can we trade Hong Kong stocks here? Yes, you can. If the market is open to you, right? It's basically the same as K-Trade. There is no change in terms of that, right? If you want to trade Hong Kong, you can always trade Hong Kong. It's just like how you trade Hong Kong on your current K-Trade or Maybank trade. Right. Okay, so let's move on to the actual workspace itself, right? So I've been talking to you a little bit about the predefined workspace, and this is where you can do a lot of customization on your, on the way it looks and feels, right? So anyway, before we even talk about customization, let me assure you that when you load this platform the first time, okay, when you log in the first time, this is the predefined workspace that you will see. All right, so let me just make the font a little bit smaller, just to show you at 100% what it looks like. Okay, so this is the 100% look of the workspace, right? And basically, it has already preset a lot of the widgets and worksheets that we think that you frequently will use, right? It's basically similar to Foresight, except that it is much, much better in the sense that it allows you to change the size of your individual worksheets, and it also allows you to stack various widgets into one single worksheet, right? And it makes it easier for you to put stuff that on your screen that you feel that is more relevant to you in terms of your preference and the way you trade and monitor the markets, right? So this is predefined. Okay, the meaning of predefined is that we feel that these are some of the things that generically, in general, right, most people would want to have on their screen, right? It doesn't mean that this is the end all, right? You can, of course, create another worksheet, a workspace, all right, that basically is very simple, maybe consisting of just 2 or 3, widgets that you prefer to use only, right? You can actually do that. Okay, I'll show you how to do that later on. But let me just go through some of the widgets that are here on your predefined so that you can get familiar with them. Okay, let's start. A workspace. What is the meaning of workspace? Okay, workspace is anything under this top bar and to the right of this sidebar. So this whole area right up to the edge of the screen is known as your workspace. Okay, when my cursor is moving around, that's basically your workspace. Okay, so let me just zoom in again so that for the benefit of those who feel that it's a bit too small on the Zoom platform, right? Well, yeah, limited to Zoom, right? So that's the way it is. Okay, on the right, okay, we'll start on the right this time. Okay, this is your order ticket widget. Okay, order ticket widget in one worksheet. So what is a worksheet? Worksheet is basically anything that has this yellow title bar, right? It has this yellow title bar, and this is a worksheet. Okay, one tab in the worksheet is known as a widget, a tool for you to use. So you can see that the order ticket is actually on a worksheet that has only one widget in it, right? And then here there is another widget, another worksheet, sorry, right? And this is only has the market widget inside. Okay, just one tab. Okay, but if you look at the one that's my cursor is on top right now, this is a worksheet also, but it has 1, 2, 3, 4 different widgets inside. Okay, and this number can grow up to the maximum of 10 widgets, I believe. Right, so if you really want to squeeze everything into one worksheet, you can go ahead and do so, on a different workspace that you created, or you can even modify this predefined workspace so that it suits your preference, right? So this worksheet here has 4 different widgets inside. So each tab is known as a widget, and this entire container, right, with the yellow title bar is known as the worksheet. Right, so we talk about the order ticket widget. Right, this is the one that you actually key in your trades, right? So you can do buy or sell, short sell. Short sell obviously is for Singapore market only, right? So if you go to the US market, you choose a US stock, right? It's not going to show you the short sell, right? You got your limits and all that. You have your order type and your validity. All this is exactly the same as what you already have on your Maybank trade. There is nothing much different in terms of that, just the look, right? Okay, so that is the order. Later on, I'll go more in depth when I place an order for you to see, right? So that is the order ticket. Okay, let's look at the one here that where my cursor is on top. This one that has the 4 widgets inside. So we'll go through some of the more basic widgets that we have. We'll skip the chart for now. Let's talk about time and sales. Okay, so for all your worksheets, right? If you find that the size here is too small, right? You can't see enough right? Don't worry, there is actually an expand button on every single worksheet. So even your order ticket has it. This one that has the market widget inside has it. All worksheets have it. Okay, so what you do is you click on this expand button, and you can use and make this whole worksheet occupy the entire workspace area, right? So just to demo to you and also talk about the widget itself, let's talk about this time and sales widget for a start, right? So this time and sales widget is basically similar to what you have in the Maybank trade as well, right? So it's actually showing you all the trades done for this particular stock, which is golden agri, throughout the entire day, right? So in this case, you have several pages because it's all timestamped. So the latest trade, the most recent one, is right at the top, followed by lesser recent ones going down the list, right? So page 1, if there's a page 2, the next will be here for you to click so that you can go to the next page, right? And so on. As you can see, the time is decreasing, getting earlier in the day. You can go to the last page by clicking on the last. That's all here. So basically, it's the timestamp price that was done for that particular stock. In this case, the first page is showing you that the last trade done today was done at a price of 0.28, and the trade size, basically in number of shares, is 2,000 shares, and the price that was done at was bought from the seller. So bought from the seller means that it was done at the seller's price or asking price, right? Okay, so here's the enhancement over the whole Maybank trade, right? So instead of having the bid ask, so if you look at the Maybank trade one, you will see that this bought from seller would have the word ask here instead of bought from seller. And sold to buyer, basically it has the word bid here. Okay, so what does it mean actually? So why is it green for bought from seller? But basically the trade was done at the asking price. So the buyer basically bought from the seller's price at the asking price, which is usually higher than the bid price, right? So for the buyer to actually pay the seller at what the seller's price, what the seller wants, right, is kind of like showing that the buyer is actually quite urgent in terms of getting the stock, even though that he has to pay the asking price, right? So it's kind of bullish sentiment, right? So that's why it's green, bought from seller. All right, then sold to buyer, basically the price was done at the buyer's price, the bid price. Okay, so for the seller to actually agree to a trade and sell it to the buyer at the buyer's price, which is usually lower than the asking price, it shows a little bit of a bearish sentiment. So that's why it's red in color, right? So easier to interpret in a sense, instead of using the ask and bid, you're not very sure what that means. But here there's a literal translation of what it means. So bought from seller is actually done at ask, sold to buyer is actually done at bid, right? So this is the enhancement over the old Maybank trade. Okay, the next widget we have is the trade summary widget. Okay, the trade summary widget is, instead of showing you by time in terms of trade, it's going to show you all the different prices that this particular stock traded at, right? So you have this price column, right? So today there's trades done at all these prices, right? 0.25 right up to 0.28, right? And you also have the volume, right? The number of shares that were traded at these different price levels throughout the entire day. And of course, you have a column that says the number of trades that were done at this price throughout the entire day as well. Okay, mid means merit deals, that kind of stuff, right? Off exchange trades. All right. Okay, then we have a bid volume and ask volume. So at this price, what was the volume at the bid, right? And what was the volume done at the ask, right? So you can see here. And the enhancement that over the previous Maybank trade is that we have bars, indicative bars here. So if you just look at numbers, in this particular case, easy to see because the numbers are quite far apart in terms of numerical value, right? But if they are very close, right, sometimes it's very hard to see, wow, which price has the most bid done at bids, which price has the most done at us, right? So basically, you want to see the summary of where are the usually the bids queued at, done at, and where are the the selling asking price done at. okay, which price is actually the most, having the most bid done and ask done, right? So the bars is an enhancement, easier for you. Visually, you can see which is longer, which is shorter. So you don't have to look at the numerical value of the bid volume like you used to do in the old Maybank trade. Okay, so that is the trade summary. Okay, and this is a major enhancement on market depth. So those of you who have subscribed to market depth, you will see this major enhancement over the old previous Maybank trade. Okay, so first thing, okay, this is showing you not like the previous two widgets. Time and sales and trade summary is basically done deals. That means trades that have been done are recorded under the time and sales and trade summary. Okay, in market depth, it is orders. That means trades that are not done yet, but queuing, right? So these is an indication of the volume stacked up or queued at different price levels. Okay, the top row is your current bid ask prices like 0.275 and 0.28, right? And then you see that on the left side column, you have 40 trades or 40 orders consisting of a total of 8,075,600 shares queuing at the price of 0.275, right? On the right side, you see at 0.28, you have a total of 155 orders comprising of a total number of shares queuing to be sold at this number, 12,037,000 shares, right? So the improvement here is that we can now show you the number of orders instead of just showing you the number of shares. Okay, so you have 155 orders, right? And here you have 40 orders only, right? And then as you go lower on the bid side, it is lower prices. So not everyone is queuing at 0.275 to buy this stock. Okay, some may be queuing at 0.27, 0.265 and lower, right? And then some may be trying to sell and are queuing to sell at the top price, I mean the current price at 0.28 asking price, and then it goes higher and higher. So there are some people that may be queuing to sell at higher prices. So the question is, how many orders are there at different price levels, right? Okay, so example, let's look at 0.255, okay, or even 0.245, okay. So you can see that actually there is 123 orders or comprising a total of 20 million something, right? And this seems to be very long, the bar. These two bars are very long. So it indicates to you that if the price really drops to this, comes down to 0.255, right? It will take some time before you can actually break through this level, 0.255. That's what people use market depth for. So this could be currently the interim support area. Whereas if you look at the asking price, right? So you can see that the longest bar is basically at 0.285. The price level 0.285, there are 95, basically 95 orders here comprising of 12 million plus shares waiting to sell, right? So this happens to be the longest bar so far, right? So basically, if the price goes up and really hits 0.285, right, it will take some time before it can cross over because you have to consume all the orders if they are not taken away before you can jump to the next price level of 0.29, right? Because orders are being fulfilled at that point, right? So this is the way that people look at market depth, and this is the normal way, or rather the way that you can see right now on your Maybank, the current Maybank trade. Okay, the enhancement that we add on now is that we have this lower half here. Okay, and this is a pretty useful lower half. So let's look at the first, how to read this, right? So you have a bid queue. So it's divided into two halves, right? One left half, another right half. So we are dividing into two halves, okay? So on the left half is actually the bid queue, right? So you see that this price here, 0.275, right? And then below that, what does all this thing mean? Okay, this is the order. Every line underneath this, right, is actually individual orders and telling you the number of shares with that order. So 565.5K shares is actually one order at queuing at the price of 0.275 to buy. Right? So the next one is 100, the next one is 748K, and so on. You can see up to a total of 39, I think so, 39 different orders. The most recent 39. Okay? So in a way, you can also judge at different price levels what kind of individual orders are we talking about? Is it small ones, or is it big, large ones? Okay, and if you know the price, you can actually calculate the amount of money. Okay, what people are putting their wallets or something at risk, right? Okay, so that's what it basically helps you to see, right? And then on the R side, the second half, which is the right half, you can see that this 280 is basically the asking price, right? The current asking price. Okay, if you can see here, there are total of 155 orders, right? 155 orders, but we can only show you the first, basically the first most recent 39 under this price, 0.28. So 0.275, there were 40. We can show you up to the first 39. Right, individual orders, what is the size? Okay, so this is the enhancement on top of the already enhanced market depth that we have on the Maybank Trade upgrade. Right, your current Maybank Trade can't see this. Okay, you don't even see the bars. You don't even see the number of orders, in fact. Right, so this is a major enhancement. Hopefully you like it. Right, unfortunately, not everyone can. The market depth is obviously not, it has to be subscribed to in order for you to see. So if you have no subscription to market depth, then obviously you won't see this on your screens. Okay, so that is basically your 3 widgets that I've talked about. If you press on the same button, the expand button becomes a collapse button, right? You'll bring it back down to the workspace area again, right? So this is one. All right, then we look at some other widgets here that we have also. So we have the portfolio widget. Okay, the portfolio widget is also quite interesting. So let me expand it so that you can see it better. So portfolio widget basically has a little bit of enhancement as well. So you have the same few things, the unrealized, realized, portfolio management, manual entry, outstanding positions, balance, and now we have a calculator. Okay, so we have the calculator that has just recently been put in, right? So we have the unrealized P&L, right? So for portfolios nowadays, I don't know whether it was under the Maybank Trade, whether it updates on real time, but for this new Maybank Trade that you be upgraded to, right? If you buy something or you sell something during the day, this portfolio will update real time, so that it will update your holdings and the unrealized P&L based on your revised holdings of that particular stock in your current portfolio, right? And it basically separates into the markets as well. So SGX, right, or HKEX, New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, in separates. It doesn't, you don't really have to select markets, though you still can, right here. So you just say you want to see only SGX, you can just click SGX, it will just show you the SGX one only. But if you click on all markets, it basically will be, you segregate them in the markets and show you the portfolio holdings individually, right? And you can, of course, also sort by account as well, right? And you can even sort based on type of payment, like CPF, cash, or SRS, right? You can also export this. So if you click on this, it can be exported to a CSV file. If you're not too sure what each column actually means, you can actually click on this P&L description, and basically the columns are all shown here. The meanings of each column is explained here. So hopefully you can, look at it, try to understand what's going on from this button, which is called the P&L description, right? And another enhancement, we have a pie chart here that is a visual way of looking at your portfolio and how it's divided. First time you look at it, This is divided in terms of markets, separated in segregated in terms of markets that you have stocks in, or that you have holdings in, right? So, and you can see that the largest slice, the largest slice of the pie is basically SGX cash, because it basically is the largest piece here, right? Then followed by this other one, which is, I believe, is HKEX. So every time you move your mouse cursor over, you can see the quantity and the name of the market that the slice represents. And then you see the Hong Kong Exchange, that's the second one. And if you can just maybe put your cursor on top here, you got the New York Stock Exchange one. And the Nasdaq one is really simply too small to actually put your mouse on top, right? So it divides this into pie slices, so you can get a feel of, you know, where are your holdings at, which markets is heaviest, and which markets are the lightest, right? And then if you were to click on the actual slice itself, right? So example, SGX cash, if you click on it, right, it will further divide this into individual stocks or instruments or, you know, securities, right? So your SGX basically market holdings basically comprise of, you know, these few stocks. You got Marco Polo Marine, the biggest slice, followed by the place holdings and, you know, and so on, right? So it actually brings out the individual stocks that comprise, that is part of your SGX cash holdings, right? So breaks it down, easier for you to see, give you a better feel visually of how large is a particular stock in your holdings, and then going further out. So if you're going to go back to the previous look or previous overview, you click on this back button here, and you will get back to the total portfolio pie chart here that shows you breakdown in terms of the various markets you have stocks in, right? Okay, so good visual look at it. Then you have realized P&L. So realized P&L is all those things that you've already bought and sold, or sold and bought back, or whatever, right? So it's anything that has already been done, complete, fully done, right? So you can see that just gives you a record of the various stocks that you have done, fully done, and then shows you the realized P&L, if there is any, right? Gain and losses in terms of percentages. If you want to check out what individual trades have you done on this particular Genting in history, you can click on the details link, and you'll bring it up. And if you have more than one trade done over time in history, right, you will list out all the various trades that you have done throughout your history with us at Maybank Singapore, Maybank Securities Singapore, right? So here, so this is the realized P&L. Again, the breakdown in terms of pie chart is there too. Okay, then you have portfolio management. This is for you to do things like clean up your portfolio. So it will list out all the various things that you have bought and sold with Maybank Trade, right? So all here, okay, individual trades that you have done, right? You can see the action here, buy, sell, buy, and so on, right? And it goes into the number of pages. So if there's only 2, then you show 2. If there's more, you show more, right? And here is where you can say, okay, I don't want this anymore. So I can select, let's say I don't want to see this anymore. I can select that particular buy trade or sell trade, and then you can select multiple, of course, and then you can click on the delete button. That will be removing it from your portfolio records with us, so that next time you look at your portfolio, you won't see those trades anymore, or it will be calculated in your realized P&L anymore. Okay, then you have manual entry. So this manual entry is basically the same as what you see on your current Maybank trade. Okay, this allows you to input into your portfolio, our Maybank trade portfolio, stocks that you may have bought with another broker and not with us, right? And you just want to put it in so that the portfolio widget can track it and monitor your P&L for you, calculate your P&L for you, right? So basically you need to select the bought or sold. You need to have the settlement currency, the order date, the date that you bought it or sold it, okay? Whether the payment type is cash or whatever, okay? Right, and then of course the stock itself that you actually bought itself and all that. right? And then you have the fees and you have the total, right? So here's the total after calculating into the fees, your quantity, your price that was done, right? You can put in some remarks here to indicate that, you bought with whom, or this could be even like, for example, this could be even for example, so a stock that you got from IPO, that you place, you submitted an IPO bid and got it. Okay, so you can actually just put in the stock name here, and then after that, basically enter it into our portfolio so that it can be monitored and tracked in terms of the P&L. Right. So that's manual entry. Then we have the outstanding positions. This one indicates to you, if you have bought something, how much is the amount that you need to pay. If you sold something, how much the amount that you will receive after the sale is done. That is the outstanding positions. Balance is roughly about the same, due to you, due to us. And then we have the calculator. So you can actually put in stock and then say that your buy price is what's your target sell price. You input the brokerage and so on, and the amount, it can calculate to you for you, what's your P&L after if the trade were to get done. Right. So this is very similar to the calculator that you'll get on your Maybank trade right now. Right. So this is the portfolio widget under that worksheet. We have the order book, which I will show you later because I need to place a trade in order for you to see it. But basically, this is where you check your order status. And then we have the other one called the batch order, where you can put a basket of stocks to do at the same time simultaneously. Right, so you can enter the stock. This one is similar to your current Maybank trade. Right, so that is basically that worksheet. Okay, so this is the worksheet that we're talking about. Okay, then we come to this particular worksheet that's right on top here, and this is the market widget. Okay, the market widget is shows you the top volume or gainers or losers, percent and so on. So very similar to what you have on your Maybank trade right now. Okay, so we have you can actually work with this through selecting the exchange you want to see. So if let's say you want to go to Bursa Malaysia or even HKEX, the Hong Kong exchange, right? It will show you the market data, in this particular case sorted by volume, or you can sort by gainers, right? Top gainers here, or percent gainers by in terms of percent, losers, and so on, right? And yeah, you can even separate this in terms of alphabetical order. So if you want to see all the stocks that start with W, for example, you select W and that's what it will show. Okay, A to Z, it will go back to the top volume. Right, it will show you the top volume for that particular market. Right. Okay. So some things that you can do with this type of table, type format, type of widgets, right, is that you can actually go ahead and do some customization here. So, example, there's a little settings button at the top right-hand corner of the worksheet title bar. Okay. So this settings is only available for widgets that are in a table format. So like worksheet, Watchlist and market widgets have this kind of table format, right? It allows you to do some settings on the table itself, where if you click on this, actually, it basically shows you that you can, either turn off or turn on certain types of columns that you may need or not need. So if you don't need currency, for example, you can just untick. And if you click the settings again, you will find that the column for currency is no longer showing. Right, so some of these columns are here by default, right? So if some of them you don't really need it, or you don't choose not to see it, you can actually uncheck it so that it won't display on your particular customized version of the market widget, right? So if you click it on again, if you check it again, obviously the next time you click on the settings, after you're done with settings, it will show up that column again. Right. And also the other thing that you can do is that you can actually move the columns around right? So example, if I prefer the change not to be here, but I want it to be beside the percent change, right? So I can just shift. What I do is I left click on the column name itself and I move my cursor, right? So you can see the column is shifting. So I say I want to put it here, or here, right? You notice that the column has shifted, so you can rearrange your columns according to the preference that you may have, right? Instead of just accepting the default ones that's already there. Okay, so that is basically allowing you to shift, right? You can even size your column like what I'm doing. So every column has a border. So if you click on the border itself, you can actually drag, right, to enlarge the size so that, you know, certain columns are longer so that you can see more. Example, like total volume, if you feel that it needs to be longer, you can actually size it. So sizing, whether the column showing or not, the column arrangement, all can be set using this settings button here. Okay, when you're completed with the settings itself, you can always click back on the same button again to set the settings, that the changes that you have made, right? So you can see that you know, the rearrangement is there and so on. Okay, you can do this on your watch list as well. So if you were to add a watch list to this particular worksheet, like by pressing on this plus button. So when you press on the plus button, so all the worksheets also have plus buttons here, you can see, right? So all these worksheets, at the end of it, there's always a small tiny plus. Unless you have up to 10 widgets already on the same worksheet, then the plus will not be available, right? So in this case, you can still click on the plus, which means that you can add on another widget to the worksheet. So I'm going to just add on the watch list here, so make it convenient for myself. So I can click on the plus, it will bring out the watch widget list, right? And from here, these are all the widgets that you can possibly add to the worksheet, right? I'm going to add the watch list widget, which is this one. So if I press on it, okay, you see that now there are two widgets in this particular worksheet. We have the market widget as well as the watch list widget, okay? So let's, since I've added it, let's talk a little bit about the watch list widget. Again, the setting button is available. So again, you can set the arrangement of your column. You can turn on or turn off certain columns, okay? And you can, of course, make certain columns larger or smaller according to what you prefer, right? So that's under the settings, same as the market widget just now. Okay, so talking about watch list, you will have up to a maximum of 10 watch lists that's available to you, just like same as the Maybank trade right now. Okay, so up to 10, right? If you have less than 10, then you can use this plus button to add some more, up to a maximum of 10, right? So each individual watch list, right, you can change the name. So if you want to change the name, what you do is you click on the name itself here, you select, like say, select watch list 3, okay? Then you click on the name and you can change it, right? So let's say the new 3, okay? Okay, WL, whatever, okay? It doesn't really matter. Any name you want, you can have spaces in between the words if you wish. Once you're done naming it, you just hit the enter button on your keyboard and your watch list has been, name has been changed, right? So if I go to Sherwin again, I can see that there's this new 3WL thing that I just renamed just now, right? Okay, so that is how you were to go to rename your watch list, right? And then if you want to add stocks to your watch list, okay, like this, in this case, the watch list is empty, right? So one way to add is, of course, to just simply click on the pencil button, which means like kind of edit the watch list. If you click here, you bring out this familiar screen, which you probably already know of inside your current Maybank trade, right? So the one that we selected just now is the new 3W, but you can again change to another one to add, right? Choose the market that your stock that you want to add belongs to, for example, SGX, Versa, and so on. And then choose the alphabet that the stock begins with. So example D, right? So, right. And then you can choose the stock that you want to add to here, and you notice that it's not not just stocks, but basically even like warrants, or in this case the stock itself, right? You can add it here. So select, you can actually select more than one by clicking by pressing the control button on your keyboard and selecting the stock that you want to add next, darker water, for example, this one, right? Right. So you can select more than one. Then after you're satisfied with selection, you click on the add button to add it to the watch list. Okay. Right. To remove, you just have to click on the one that you want to remove, or multiple ones that you want to remove, for example, like this. Right. And then you click on the remove button to remove it. And of course, there's this very dangerous remove all. This remove all means that you remove everything that's inside your current watch list. Okay, so if you click on remove all, everything like the darker water, DBS, everything that's inside here will be removed. Okay, still got one way out. Usually, if you don't click and you made a mistake, you can click on cancel. So the watch list still will remain the same, like before you got in here. So if you want the changes to be permanent, you have to click on the save buttons to have it permanent. Right, so you can see here the 2 new stocks have been added. So this is one way to add. Quite a tedious way to add. Okay, the other way to add is that you can actually type the stock code, or you can type the alphabets or words that the stock name begins with, or has that particular word in the stock name. So example, if I want the TSM, right, Taiwan Semiconductor, right, or I can just type Taiwan if I know that it's something related to that, but not really sure, right? You can see that it also appears here, but you have to search through the list, right? So if you know the stock code, great. Yeah, then you'll show up most likely the top one if it's close to what it is, right? And then you select that, and you will also add it to your watch list. So this is a slightly faster way to do it. Okay, so all the stocks that you can remember, if you know that you want to add, you can add it this way, right? And then the other way you can add is that if you already have a list from somewhere, like for example, your market widget is a list, right? Right. So it's a list of stocks, right? And Hong Kong, right? So example, if I want to, look at a Hong Kong stock, top volume now, and so on, maybe top gainers, right? So, right, I want to add some of this 10 cents to my watch list. So in the old Maybank trade, you would have to do a right click on the name itself, and then there'll be a menu that will appear, and it will allow you to select the add to watch list, right? That kind of thing, right? So not say unfortunately, but for the new Maybank trade platform, there is no more right clicking. As you can see, if you right click, it doesn't do anything, right? So what you have right now is this this column, the left extreme column. Okay, this is known as the quick access button. Okay, it's similar to the right click in the current Maybank trade, right? So you click on this button, you can see that it pops up a menu that allows you to do most of what your K trade or Maybank trade right now is has for you to click on, right? So you can do the buy, the sell, historical charts, add to watch list, and so on, all here. Set the alerts and so on. Okay, open market depth, open time and sales, right? And then most importantly, there is this add to watch list. Okay, here's the enhancement. If you click on the add to watch list, you can select more than one watch list to add to, right? So example, I'm going to add it here. I also want to add it to, maybe sure to win as well. Okay, and I can click save. Okay, once I save here, okay, and we look at our watch list to see whether there's an update, you'll notice that the 10 cents is already added there. If I go back to sure to win, 10 cents is also added there. Right, so this is the new quick action button for every stock that you have in your watch list or market widget. This is where you go to. If let's say you want to do a quick buy, you click on buy to do it. If you want to look at historical charts, you click on historical charts to look at it. You want to set an alert for it, you click on here. Right, so this is the quick access button. Is beside every single stock that's in your list, whether is it the market list or watch list. Right, okay. So if you made any changes to your watch list, for example, by adding a stock by using a search, you may need to click on the save button to save the changes, right? So that's what the save button is for. If a red dot appears above the save button, right, it's indicating that there's some changes and you should click on the save button to save the changes if you want, right? And then of course there's a trash can button. The trash can button is for you to delete away this particular watch list, right? So if I were to say that I don't want the new W3WL anymore, I can of course click on the trash can. He will warn you that, are you sure you want to delete the watch list? If you click OK, the watch list will be deleted, like so. So now you'll find that there's no more the 3 watch lists anymore, right? And also you notice that the plus button here is highlighted now, indicating that you can add a new watch list because you have less than 10 watch lists under your account, right? So you can click a new one, okay? It will give you this name, default name called new watch list. And then you of course can just change the name. If you click on the name, is the new 3WL, right? And hit enter. Okay, so now you have again 10 watch lists, empty one, and the plus button again goes back to gray, which means to say it's disabled because you already have 10. Right, and you can start to add to your watch list again. Okay, so that is the watch list widget. So let me take a few questions before I continue. There have been some already accumulated here. Okay, do you have good till done for pre-funded? The answer is no, we don't have that. When is the migration? Depending on your account, we have staggered migration periods. If you're not too sure when, you can ask your TR. I think they have more information as to when exactly your account will be migrated. Any data on dividends payout dates and cents? Okay, right now we do not have it on this particular platform. Perhaps in the future, we may add on a feature like that. But for now, we still don't have it. Trust balance and all that, okay, is tied to your account. So it will be migrated, in a sense, migrated. Actually, it's not migrated, it's still there. So you show up on the new platform as well. How much does the new calculator help in pre-funded and cash account for US and Hong Kong stocks? How much does it help? Meaning what? So let's look at the portfolio, your calculator. Okay. Let's look at Tesla. Choose USD. So you can see the buy price is here. You can set the target price here. If you know the brokerage amount, percent, yeah, you can set it here. You can set the quantity. Then after that, you can do a calculate. Right? If it's a pre-funded account, right, same thing. You can do the calculation. I don't get what you're asking about. How much does the new calculator help? Perhaps you can be a bit more specific as to exactly what you're looking for. Try to answer that later. Under the predefined workspace SGX Straits Time Index tab, it's under your market widget. It's already there. For example, if I were to go back to my predefined workspace and I come here, right? So under here, under the A to Z, hang on, go back to SGX, of course. And then under the sectors, you can see that there is a Straits Times Index. So you should show all the component stocks of the Straits Times Index right now. I hope that's the answer to what you're looking for. Dividend information, not available right now. How to reduce the screen to the original size? Which screen are you talking about? If it's just the worksheet, right? For example, there's an expand button. You expand it to the maximum size of the workspace. There's also a collapse button, which is the same button but just reverse. You click on that, you actually bring it back down to the original size. Hopefully that's what you're meaning. Minimum commission charge. Minimum commission charge. At this point, I think it is based on the percent. I'm not too sure whether the calculator will do the flat rate if you put like 0.275% and the trade size, trade amount is not, is less than 25, example, for cash account. I need to find out, actually, I don't know, right? So yeah. Okay, so let's move on back to the workspace again. Oops, that's too big. I need to go back to predefined workspace one more time. Okay, I'm going to show you a little bit about the worksheet buttons that you see on the right side of each worksheet title bar, right? So there is there's this very dangerous button. Okay, not so dangerous, but if you know what you're doing there, it's okay. Right, so anyway, I'm just kidding, right? The button is there basically for you to delete away this particular worksheet. So again, I remind you, the worksheet is this whole panel, okay? That has the yellow title bar. It comprises of two widgets, which are the tabs within, right? So when you delete the worksheet, it includes the widgets within. So when you delete off that worksheet, right, it's gonna include it's also gonna delete the two widgets. Like in this particular example, it's gonna delete the market widget as well as the watchlist widget. Okay, so that is the basically what that trash can is for. The expand button I already showed you. The settings widget, this one is special for all the widgets or all the worksheets that have tables kind of widgets inside. Actually, this specifically for the table type widgets. Okay, so in this example, it will be a marker widget as well as the watchlist widget, right? And then this is the replace widget. So example, if I want to replace the one that I selected, like in this case, the one selected is watchlist widget. If I select market widget, then is the one that's highlighted. This one is not highlighted, so this is the one that is now active. If I wanted to change this market widget with some other widget, right, I can click on this replace button and I can select something else. Okay, by no means, right, I mean, there's no restriction, right? You can put another watch list here if you so choose. Okay, you can replace a watch list widget with a market widget with a watch list. Why would you want to do that? Well, some people might want to quickly look at two different watch lists at the same time, right? Kind of, right? So an example, I can have two watch lists here, right? One showing, each showing a different watch list. So you can have up to 10 watch list widgets in one worksheet if you so choose. I mean, it's up to you to go and configure as well as customize so that it suits your personal preference. Okay, that's the whole idea behind this new changes that we have done to this platform to make it easier to customize and to suit your personal preference. Because we are all different. We have different viewpoints. We have different ways to monitor markets. We have certain types of information that are more important than other types of information, and we would like to have them at our fingertips. So we appreciate that, and therefore we have created, or rather enhanced the platform so that it makes it even easier for you to actually do that, right? Okay, so we're going to look at replacing back with the marker widget again. If I can find it, oh yeah, right here. Right, so back to market, right, as you can see. Okay, that leaves me with this other button, the one that has the down pointing arrow. Okay, so when you click on this, it pops a menu for you to see, right? So there are a few things that we have here. Okay, the first one I want to explain is about this zoom in and zoom out. Okay, so just now we talked about the settings, overall platform settings, where we can say, okay, 3 default sizes for fonts, right? You have small, you have default, and you have the large, right? So let's say you want to fine tune even more the size of fonts, right? So you have this zoom in. So if you click on zoom in, it actually will enlarge, as you can see, the fonts further, right? As you can see, it's not getting larger, right? And then if you want to zoom out, you click on zoom out, it actually reduces the font size. So this is fine tuning the font size, and this only pertains to that widget that you're looking at, right? Or rather that worksheet that you're looking at. Sorry, right? Okay, zoom in, zoom out, right? So if this is so important to you and you wish to have it such that you don't have to come and click on this down arrow, then go and access it every time you want to click on it, well, there's check boxes here for you to check, right? To tick, right? So if you tick beside the zoom in, then it appears on your title bar. So the next time you want to zoom in, just click on the button instead of going to the down arrow and clicking on zoom in, right? So if let's say you want to put zoom out there as well, so check the zoom out as well. And you have the 2 buttons there, quick access buttons now on the title bar. So you can plus, right? And plus, so this one doesn't have, so it's pertaining to the widget itself. So plus for it, right? And minus to reduce the size. Okay. If you don't want it to be there anymore, uncheck it so that it will go away, right? And then this thing called link and delink. Okay, so this is actually very important for you to understand, right? So all our widgets are linked together in a sense. Okay, what do I mean by this thing called link? Right, so in the current Maybank trade, if you do a right click on the stock name, or you double click on the stock name with the foresight, it will actually go and populate information about the stock or data about the stock in all the other pagelets or widgets, right? So instead of double clicking right now, we give you a single click. Instead of 2 clicks, we do 1 click. So let's say you want to see Sam Marine and the information of Sam Marine under the order ticket, under the chart, in time and sales, trade summary, market depth, and so on, right? So what you do is now you just click on Sam Marine, the name itself, and you notice that now everything is showing up as Sam Marine. Time and sales too, trade summary too, market depth also, order ticket as well. Okay, so this is known as broadcast, and it's broadcasting to all the widgets that are considered as linked. But there are times when you say, okay, I don't want the data to change for that particular widget. You may have added one, and that's particularly for a particular stock only, and you don't want it to change every time you click on something else, right? Yeah, so that is where you will use this thing called the delink button. So example, I'll take the market depth as the widget where I don't want it to be linked to the rest. Okay, so what I do is I go to here, down arrow key, and I click on this thing called delink, right? So now it's delinked, right? So this market depth widget, right, is delinked from the rest. So if I were to click on another stock to change the others, right, like Thai beverage, you notice that it still remains as Samcorp, but order ticket has changed to Thai beverage, time and sales also changed to Thai beverage, trade summary also changed to Thai beverage. Okay, the rest are linked except for market depth. Okay, this is the meaning of the link, right? If you want to link it back, you just have to click on the down arrow, and this time you click on link instead of delink, right, to link it back to the rest. Okay, so if you click on another stock, for example, Meituan, obviously Meituan has no market depth because we can't see, we don't have access to the Hong Kong exchange market depth, right? So there's no market depth visibility here. But you see, even then, the stock name has changed to Meituan, the order ticket as well, and the rest as well, as you can see from here. Right? So that is the meaning of linking, right? So linking is when all the widgets are linked, your names from the watch list or even the market list. Okay. So what you do is you move your cursor on top until it's on top of the name of the stock. And you can see that the mouse cursor will change to like kind of a two-headed, one small arrow followed by a darker, smaller right pointing arrow. That is the indication that if you click using that cursor, you will be populating the rest of the other widgets with that particular name so that you can view the information about that stock, right? So this is also something that is very quick, easy, one click and you'll get information at your fingertips, right? Okay, so we have all this portfolio show you already. You have order book, batch orders, and so on. Okay, so let's now pause for a while and no, not pause, but let's continue on and talk about buying and selling, right? So I'm gonna put in a small trade. Okay, let's look at Genting. So buying, selling in the old Maybank trade would be a right click away, right? So you right click and then you click on buy, right? So that's one way to do it. In new Maybank trade, you use the quick action button, the one that is beside the stock that you want to buy or sell, right? So you click on the quick action button, you can see there's buy, sell, right? So if you click on buy, for example, it's going to show you the order ticket in this format, right? Again, straight away, you can see that the action has already been highlighted in this case because you click on buy, right? Of course, you can change your mind and select sell or even short sell in this case because it's SGX stock, right? The account that you see here is the default account that you set up inside your profiles, right? If I'm not wrong, yeah. Under your profile on the left quick bar just now, the left quick action sidebar, this bar here on the side here under the profile, right? So this is the one that shows up, but you can of course change it by clicking on it to another account to use for trading this particular stock, right? Okay, and then you have your buy limits here and you have your order types, okay? So for cash account, right, you have your advanced orders. Those of you who are approved to use the advanced orders, you have limit, market, and of course market to limit, right? So the standard basic order is known as limit. Limit basically means that it's a price that you set to buy and it will only buy at that price, okay? And anything that's lower. It won't actually trade anything or make a trade, or the trade won't go through if the current last time price is now higher than your limit price. Okay, that's the meaning of limit. Okay, for market and market to limit, these other orders are advanced. So they have different ways of setting prices and the meaning of the price that you set. If you're not sure what it actually is, I would suggest that you talk to your trading rep because they are the ones that approve you to use them. If you don't understand them, it's actually quite not very it could be quite dangerous for you to use them because it means different things than the limit order. So please ask your TR if you're not sure, right? Validity, you have the trade validity, the order validity. Okay, so this is the basic one is day, right? And this is available on your cash account. If you go to pre-funded, it's also available. But with the cash account, if you're approved, there are other advanced orders like good to date, good to max, fill or kill, and FAK, which is fill and kill, right? So the others like GTD, GTM, FOK, FAK, these are all advanced orders, okay? Basically, if you're not approved, you won't see them. If you're using a pre-funded account, you won't see them. If you're using a margin account, you also won't see them, right? So let me just maybe quickly run through what the good till date is. Good till date is basically to allow, okay, let's start off with the day validity first, okay? Day validity basic one, it means that if you put in your order now, today, this current trading day, when the market is open, right? Your order will be in the exchange queue until the end of day, which is basically 5 p.m. on a normal trading day, right? And then after which your order will expire. So it will not exist in the exchange order book anymore after that expiration, right? So that's the meaning of day order, right? So advanced orders like good till date, is for you to extend the expiration. So when does it expire? In this case, you want the expiration to advance into the future, not just today. So when, until when do you want it to expire? So you have an additional button that looks like a calendar there button for you. If you click, you can select a date in advance beyond today to the next whatever date that you choose. Okay, up to a maximum of 30 calendar days in advance. Okay, so you choose this. Like in this particular case, let me just choose some date like 30th of March, right? So the 30th of March, okay, this is the date when this order, if I put it in right now, will expire in the future, right? So this is the meaning of good till date, okay? So you don't have to reload your order the following day because it will still be there. You'll be loaded by extracts back onto the exchange the following day. All right, and then after that, there's good till max. Okay, so good till max is basically for you just say, okay, I want the maximum extent possible in terms of expiration date. Extend it to the max, which in this particular case in our exchange, it means 30 calendar days in advance from today. Okay. Okay, then after that, you have the FOK, which is fill or kill, and FAK, which is fill and kill. Again, these are very advanced scenarios for validity. If you're not sure what they are, please ask your TR because they are the ones that approve whether your account can have it or not. I think it'll be good for them to know that you are asking, right? So FOK, FAK, I will not elaborate here, but basically, if you're not sure and you don't know how to use them, please don't use them. Okay, then you can set the order quantity. So this enhancement that we have over the current Maybank trade is that we have this additional plus and minus buttons. Okay, so instead of just keying in the number, you can actually use the plus to increase the quantity, and it will be increased by the basically it will be increasing by the minimum lot size. Okay, so the minimum lot size is displayed here, is in this particular case 100 shares, right? So this is number of shares, the quantity is number of shares, not lots, right? Since you can't trade odd lots with Maybank Trade, so it will increase by one minimum lot size each time you press the plus button, and it will reduce by one minimum lot size each time you press on the minus button. Okay, then you can set the range, the price that you want to buy the stock at. So if let's say you want to put 102, you can do that. Okay, we also have an enhancement here that has this range where you can see, right? For SGX market, as you may or may not know, there is a minimum bid for buy trades that you can use. So it's going to show you an indication of what that minimum number is. In this particular case, your minimum allowable bid price is at 0.865 based on the last done price currently in the market, right? So you can see from here what's the extent that you can go in terms of how low can you set your bid price before it's not allowed, or it will result in an error in terms of submission of your trade, right? So this is the minimum of 0.65. If you do a sell, right, the range is the other way around. So your asking price, how high can you put your asking price before it becomes an error in terms of submission? Okay, in this particular case, it can go all the way up to 1.33 maximum. Again, this is an enhancement. You don't see this on your current Maybank trade, right? Okay, then next you have your pay, your currency. So your settlement currency in Maybank trade, the current Maybank trade, you settle it in SGD or USD. By default, it will show you the current trading currency that is. Oh dear, that's not very good. Hang on, going back in again. This is a simulator, so some there may be some problems. So let me try that again and get back in. Sorry for the interruption. Oh my goodness, now we can't. All right. Yeah, this type of things usually happens when you're alive. Okay, sometimes you cannot escape. All right, so I'm not going to be able to show you unless this platform comes up again. Oh dear. Okay, let me try to do this again. Just one more time. Sorry for the interruption. Let's see whether it works this time around. Just give me a moment to see whether it results in an error again. Then I will just shift to the other platform. Okay, it's quite clear that it's not going to happen. Nope. Okay, luckily we have a backup. All right, but unfortunately this backup, we cannot, let me just place that trade one more time. We can't trade it because we have no limits on this guy. So, but anyway, we're going to show you the demo to you, the what it looks like. All right. Okay, so limit again, as just I said, we have the bid range and so on, and then we have the settlement currency, right? So the settlement currency is either your settle in the denominated currency. So in this case, because this stock is Singapore, so it's going to be Singapore currency. The SGD will be the default settlement currency. All right. But let's say if this is like a US stock, right, then the settlement currency may end up as USD by default here. But you want to pay in Singapore dollars, then what do? You select Singapore dollars as your pay-in currency, right? Okay, so hopefully that is clear. And then of course there is a cash account. Your pay in by where? By what? Where is the source of your funds, right? So it can be cash in the case of cash account, or it can be a CPF or SRS. But if you use pre-funded, for example, okay, if you have a pre-funded account, then this options won't be available. Okay, so it won't be available. Okay, so only available if it is a cash account, right? So again, let me see, they put your date, set the 30th and all that. Okay, then after that, what you do is that you will key in your password. Okay, so you key in your password and you'll click on the submit button. Okay, so let me just increase the currency, and then if I click submit, right, it will show you this order summary. Right, basically it's showing you it's giving you a confirmation window for you to confirm that whatever you key in is exactly what you want to do, right, in terms of submit the order. And then next you click on the OK, right? So when you click on the OK, it's supposed to submit the order and give you the result of the submission. Okay, so in this case, because we have no trading limits, yeah, you will get this order result. Okay, if you have trading limits and sufficient trading limits for the amount that you want to buy, for example, then you will have a positive result, which shows you a tick instead of an exclamation mark, right? So in this case, yeah, we don't have this. So we can't show you. After this, what will happen is that in your order book, you have this, right? So if the trade went through, right, you will have this inside your order book. In this case, you can see that it is there. Unfortunately, the status is rejected. In this case, R. Right? So I've expanded the widget so that you can see better. Right? So it indicates as R, which means it got rejected. Okay, this column in the order book or in the OK trade or the old Maybank trade is known as the status column. Right? It's the same codes that you will see. Okay, no change. If you're already used to already know those codes by heart, right? They remain the same in the new Maybank trade as well. Okay, if you forgot what they are or you want to know or learn with them, right? There's this thing called the abbreviation button here, which you click right here on top. This topmost table, order status, right? Is basically all the possible codes that can appear under the status column. So just now the one that has the R, as you can see, it actually stands for rejected order. right? Rejected order. Why? Because don't have enough limits. Okay, but if it's possible and actually have limits, right? At this time of the evening, you will see that the order status will become PO, pending to enter the queue, because the market is closed right now, right? Tomorrow, when the market reopens, SGX is open, right? It will actually change to queue, which means that the order is accepted in the queue if there's nothing wrong with your order that the exchange is rejecting, right? So you end up as queue. Right, during the trading day, if your order happens to be done or partially done, right? If it's partially done, you will get PF, which means partial fill. So PF. If it is fully done, you will end up with the F, which is basically means filled, not fail. Filled means filled order or done, right? If you were to cancel the order for some reason, you end up with C. If you use a day order type and 5 p.m. at 5 p.m. after 5 p.m., right? Once the market is closed, if you look at your order book or order status, you might see this E, which means expired order. Okay, basically it means that the order has expired. But since we use a GTD, it's not going to show up as E. Okay, it'll still be PO or Q in that sense, right? So yeah. So this is where you look for it, the meaning of the status, order status codes that may appear under this column status, right? This is basically similar to your current Maybank trade order status. Everything is there, right? Except that if this order is under the PO status, in this column, you will see two buttons. One that has a trash can, okay, which allows you to actually delete away your trade or withdraw your trade. Okay, withdraw your order if it's not already done or it's not canceled, right? And then there's a pencil button that looks like a pencil. Okay, that allows you to actually amend your order. Okay, so the amending and the withdrawal is again very similar to your current Maybank trade withdrawal and amendment of the order. The windows are the same. All right, it's quite intuitive. Okay, so this is your order status. Okay, and that's basically how we do the order. Let me try to log into the simulator again. Let's see whether it's still okay. So maybe I can show it to you better. Hopefully it got reset and I can get in. Yes. Aren't I lucky? Okay, so let's do that again, just to show you. Okay, one more time, very quickly. So I submitted this, okay, and then I click on buy, okay, or I do a not right click, but quick action button and do a buy. Okay, ends up like this, right? So let's select the buy, quickly do it. Limit, good to date. Let's see, we go to good to date. Let's set the date to the 30th and then increase the amount to 200, reduce the price to 0.02. Okay, remain as cash SGD, key in the password, submit the order. Okay, confirm this is okay, click OK. Order is submitting. Okay, this is the order result. So if your trade is, your limits are okay, nothing wrong with your order, then you get a tick. This indicates the order has submitted successfully. You can close the box. And then if you go to order book, you'll see it here. Okay, let me expand. Okay. So again, the status is the one that's most important. It's already there. Okay, the two buttons that I'm talking about here, the pencil button is for you to amend. The trash can button is for you to withdraw. So you click on the pencil, right? You can amend the order in two ways. For Singapore stocks, you can amend in two ways. You can adjust the order quantity. So in this case, if I wanted to reduce it to 100, I could, right? Or you can use the plus minus button to do that, right? And then, yeah, if I want to change the price, I could at the same time, right? So in this case, I just want to change the order quantity, right? And I key in the password again and click submit. And then the order summary appears again to let you confirm that what you are doing is actually what you want to do. If it's okay, you click OK. It will give you the results. And then you click OK. Okay, you notice that the order quantity, hang on. Okay, the order quantity should have reduced to 100. Yeah, there you go. So it's been reduced to balance 100, as you can see. So the order is here. You click on it, you can see basically the order you place, the details of your order is clearly shown. Right. Okay. So again, if you want to withdraw your order, right, and this basically shows you the graph that how much of your order is filled. So you can see filled stroke order. So order means the order size. Filled means how much of it got done. If it's a partial, then you'll see the partial value, partial amount followed by the 100. Okay. Okay, so there's some issues with the simulator as well. It still says pending amendment. Okay, so the amendment is still going through, not too sure why it's taking so long. Therefore, you cannot see the withdrawal here. Right, again, just now you saw the trash can. You just simply click on the trash can in order for you to withdraw that order. Okay, so much for this widget. Okay, I think I have some time to do a little bit more questions just before I look at the charts widget. Okay, so when client want to send an order, is there any point showing corporate action? I suppose if let's say you have like come dividends or come rights in the Singapore context, I'm not too sure about other exchanges, but usually you will see remarks here on the watch list that have like things like CD and CR, right? So sometimes it could be that either you are looking to get the dividends, therefore you are buying, or you want to avoid it until the X dividends, you know. So the remark column along in your watch list or your, you know, in your market widget, right, is the same, right? They all have the remarks. If I were to bring it out, okay, here in this case, there's a remarks column. Yeah, so it shows you some form of corporate action information, right? That could affect whether you want to buy that particular stock at that point in time. It's not going to show up. It may not actually show up under here. So let's say if I do comfort diagram, I do a buy, right? It doesn't really show up here, but it does show up on the list, which is the either your market watch list, your watch list or your market widget, right? So either your watch list widget or your market widget, right? One or the other. Okay. So this will actually show some indication of possible upcoming corporate actions that may be going on, right? So in that kind of corporate action, I don't know whether the rest of the other kinds of corporate actions, you know, news and all that, we have things like stock alerts, which basically you can use for news as well. So they will send you an alert in case there's some kind of corporate action happening or announcement that is being made, which may relate to corporate action. Hopefully that helps the answer. Good question by Ian. Long time no see, Frank. After some edits, can I get back to the original predefined workspace? Yes, we haven't discussed that, but yeah, okay, let's discuss it right now, right? So this is the predefined workspace, right? There is no recover to predefined workspace, right? So once you make the changes and you save it, it becomes like new. So my suggestion would be to, if in case you want to, like, for example, make customization, what you could do is that you could actually go ahead and create a new workspace. So how to do that, right? So there's a plus button here besides the workspace selection box, which you can click. So plus, you get a new workspace. Okay, so it brings up new workspaces usually come with one worksheet with a no widget inside. Right. So what you can do is that you can size your widgets, you can size your worksheet. So here, as you can see, right at the bottom right-hand corner, right, is a little sizing handle which you can hold and pull. So you can size it all the way to occupy whatever space that you want. Okay, like so. Right. And then you can straight away click on the plus button to add in your new widget, whichever it may be. Right. Or alternatively, you can use this quick menu here and say you want to split vertically or horizontally. Let's say if I wanted to recreate the predefined workspace, I can split horizontally like so. And so I got two worksheets now. Instead of one, I have two now. Each of them is separate. If you were to reduce the size here, you can see that it basically affects the other one as well. Right. Till again, we have empty worksheets with no widget. So if you want to divide this lower one into two again, but this time vertically, you can go for vertical splitting. And this is like that, right? Okay, so I say for this one, let's say I want to add in the chart widget. I can click on the plus button and then go ahead and find my chart widget, which is this. So I added that, right? Then from this point onwards, all you need to do is click on this internal plus, right? The worksheet plus, and you can add on the stuff that was there, right? Like time and sales, example, or you can add in the trade summary. Let me just find it, right? Or and then after that, you can add the market widget. If you can't find it by searching, you can always type market. Okay, so find your market widget, you can add it on. Okay, so that's this. Okay, on this one, you can add the portfolio. So for example, if you want to go and look at your portfolio, you can add that too. And then your order book, which is here. Let me look for the order book. Okay, order book here. Yeah. And of course, your batch order, which starts with B here. Right. So already we created almost most of it. Then this one, we can add, let's say the market widget, which is this. And then we can add on the watch list, which is this. Okay, as you can see, quickly we can recreate what we want to see, or we can create something that's totally different, right? So if you didn't want to see the order ticket right here, you can just leave it out. But if you want to add the market widget, then how the order ticket in a separate worksheet, how, right? So that's where we have this little button here. Okay, on the quick right, the left side, quick launch bar here, the sidebar, right? You can click on this button. It brings out the widget list. And then you say, let's put in the order ticket, right? So order ticket. But where did it go? Right, it's right at the bottom here. But don't worry, you can move. As you can see, you can grab at the title bar of the worksheet, in this case, comprising of one order ticket widget, and just drag it up to the space that's there, and then just let go, right? And you can see that I just recreated the entire predefined worksheet that was there just now. Okay, so the name workspace, new workspace one is the default name given to new workspaces or whatever number that is. You can of course click on the name itself and then just key in a different name. So my new awesome WS. Okay, and hit the enter button, and that's how you get it. So now you have predefined and my new WS. Okay, here. Okay, the predefined workspace is what comes with the platform as is. The other stuff that you see here is basically what workspaces that you created on your own. Okay, again, let me check. Let me tell you about this button here. As you can see, there is there's a save button, right? So and this is to save your workspace, and it has a red dot there, so it indicates that it's time for you to save because you made changes. You click that save, and then it's gone, right? So now, if I were to go predefine, I'm back to the predefined workspace. I will see that my new awesome workspace is here. The one that I saved just now is there, right? Okay, the one that I just created is there. Okay, so I'm going to go another 5 minutes, maybe 10. If you feel like you want to stick around, we're going to talk a little bit about the charts, and then and we'll call it a night. All right, so let's talk about the charting tool because I think this is pretty good. Okay, so the chart is here, so I'm going to expand it to show it to you. Right, so you got a charting widget here, right? To zoom in, zoom out, basically using your mouse wheel, so you can zoom in, zoom out. You can have up to 10 years of history right here at the bottom. So you click on the button 10, you basically will see 10 years worth of history, right? And you can zoom in or closer. The other way to zoom is that you can just left click on a region start, let's say this area, and you can zoom to the area that you left click and then you drag to the right, basically until the end of the region where you want to zoom into. And then you let go of your mouse button and you zoom into the area. Okay, to click anywhere on your chart, you will bring it back to its original zoom factor. Okay, for the 10 years of history. Okay, you have the time frames here. So you have favorites of time frames: 1 hour, 4 hour, day, week, month, or the down arrow key. So if you click on the down arrow key, you have a larger selection. And beside each of these time frames, there's a star for you to click. So if you click on the star and make it like yellow, right, it will appear here under your favorite time frames. So you can do up to a maximum, I think 5 of them in the area. So yeah, so pick out, I think currently by default, you should have only 1 or maybe 2, I'm not too sure. But yeah, you can pick out the time frames that you want and make it favorite, so it's up there, right? You can have your representation or your chart format, right? So what does your price look like? So you can have candlesticks, OHLC or Heikin-Ashi, you know, all these kind of things. So select your chart format is here. Okay, you can save your charts if you happen to draw lines and all that. After you've drawn the lines, you can click on save. You will save the lines to your chart. Indicators are all here. So you have your indicators right up here. So this down arrow basically shows you the favorite indicators that you like to have in your chart, right? If you want to have the full range of indicators, you click on the indicator button and you give you this basically this page for you to select the indicator that you want, right? So you select your indicator to add it to your charting platform. Okay. So that's how you do it. If you want them to appear in your drop down, yeah, then you have to click on the side so that it becomes start. So once it becomes start, it will show up under your drop down menu here under the indicators. Okay. Templates is for you to select, save your combination of indicators, right? And if you want to apply that combination to a stock chart, you just have to click and select the one that you want to apply, right? So they will appear there. Okay, some settings for you regarding the charting platform itself, the entire charting platform. So you can click on this settings button, and then you can configure the color of your candles, up, down, close line, background, and all that. So in the origin, in the default color for your background, I believe it's white, but you can click on the color itself, and then you can change the color according to the square that you select, the color square that you select, right? Yeah, so you can change your colors there. You can change the up down arrows, sorry, the candle colors. So let's say if you select black, like what I'm going to do right now, right? And you say save change settings, you click OK. So this is how you save your settings. You can see that basically you have saved your chart so that the hollow white ones are basically the up bars, and the black solid candles are your down bar. So those color settings that you saw inside the settings window like here is basically the outline color that is going to be shown for the up candles, and the outline color and fill color that you see for bearish candles, down candles. Okay. You can change the font size as well. And this font basically means the price fonts, the indicator fonts up here. Yeah, you can change the color that it looks like on, and also you can change the font size so that you can, you know, suit according to you what you like as well. Your crosshairs, you can select whether is it none, no crosshair at all, horizontal crosshair, vertical, and so on. Your line for your crosshair, whether is it a solid line or whether you want to prefer it to be a dotted line. Okay, all here. We have some themes here, but I think it's basically 2 different themes, either white or black. So depending on what background and colors you choose. You like to have, you can have a dark color, which is probably the black one, and white, which is basically the current one that you see right here on my screen. We have advanced here, so you want to show whether the indicator's price level is showing on your price levels axis, right? Do you want to have like a bubble to show your price information every time you move your cursor? You can select this. Whether you want to zoom the chart or not, right? Whether you have a reverse Fibonacci. So those of you who use Fibonacci tool, right, you know that the 100% can appear either at the top of your Fibonacci or at the bottom of your Fibonacci. So if it appears at the top of your Fibonacci, it's basically the reverse version. If it appears at the bottom, it's actually the normal version, the default version, right? So I've turned on the reverse version, right? So the 100% will be at the top of your Fibonacci, depending how you draw it actually. Okay, and adjustments, whether you want to have the adjustment data shown up on your chart or your chart drawn according to adjustments, whether it includes the dividends as the one of the adjustments or corporation information that happens to be on your, on your chart along the x-axis. Right. So again, once you do this, you have to save. Okay, wonderful things that we have here. You can actually export your chart to various formats. So if you use TradeStation as one of your charting platforms, you can actually export the chart as a TradeStation ASCII file or Metastock ASCII file. You can print the chart perhaps to PDF, like so, or as a graphic file like PNG or even JPEG. Okay, and there's other things here, like for example, you want to compare the chart. So in this case, let's say I want to compare it against the STI. So you can type STI here and then bring out the STI. So the STI is, the color is obviously green here as shown, right? You can of course choose another color. Let's say you want it to be blue. You can show it as blue, right? Okay, so it's here. Okay, if you don't want it anymore, you can click on the trash can to remove it. You close this down and it's appearing here on the top. So if you don't want it, you can click on the cross button here to remove it from your chart. So this is a comparison. It compares the current stock price, which is 10 cents versus the STI. Sorry, I should have chosen the Hong Kong Exchange, but whatever. Right. So you get the idea, right? So yeah. So if you don't want it, just click on this cross. Okay, indicators and the settings, right? So you add an indicator, all the indicators will show up on the top right-hand corner of the panel. So MACD has its own panel, so it shows up here. Okay, all indicators will have two buttons, a cross one to get rid of it, and a gear one to actually allow you to do the settings. Okay, so in this case for MA, there's only one setting, which is the look back period. So in this case, it's 30 days. If you want to change it to 20, you just type 20 and click OK. And he'll redraw the thing for you according to the 20-day moving average, right? Under the settings too, you can select style and you can change the color. So choose the color for the MA. You can set the thickness, which is to 1, 2, 3 here. So if the higher the number, the thicker the line will be. Yeah, like so. Right, so thicker line. Yeah, and yeah, so don't want to get rid of it, as I said, just click on the cross button. So for MACD, I believe there was a question, someone asking me about MACD. Right, so again, on MACD, you have your gear, which allows you to set the properties for the MACD indicator. You have P1, P2, P3. So MACD consists of 3 components: the fast moving average, which is the 12, the slow moving average, which is the 26. This is to calculate the MACD line, which is the blue line in this case. And there's a P3, in this case, the signal line. The signal line is the red line in this case. Okay, so these are all look back periods. That's why the term P stands for period of the moving averages used to calculate those lines and draw those lines. Okay, then you have the style. Okay, so color 1, color 2. I believe this is for the histogram, right? So the up histograms, the ones that go higher than the previous one, they are green. The ones that grow lower or grow shorter than the previous ones, those are in red. Okay, you have the MACD line, which is the blue color. Okay, so you can change the color here and you can change the thickness. So let's make it thicker, right? And EMA, which is basically the signal line, which is the one in red. Click OK, you can see the changes. Right, drawing lines very quickly. Last one before I go. Already overshot by a lot. Huh? Okay, so last one, we will show you a trend line drawing. So you have the light trend line. Okay, so basically trend line, what you do is that you have to click on the starting point, use left mouse click, drag out the line until the end, where you think the end should be, and you let go of the trend line. You get the line property dialog box appear. You can change the color, you can change the width, you can change the style. Of course, you can change the parameters, like if you want only right extension or left extension or no extension or both extension. Yeah, select from here, click OK, and you click elsewhere, the line will be drawn. Okay, let's go back to like 1 year so that it doesn't zoom in, zoom out so often. Right, so okay, so that's your line. All right, so it's red color. If you want to go back and select the line again, just move your mouse cursor on top of the line, double click, you'll bring back the properties for that particular line. Right? So after you draw a line and you think that you want to save the drawing, please click on the chart button up here and save the chart. Right, so you'll save the chart for you. Next time you come back to the same chart again, you will see that the line is still there. Okay, good thing improvement over the current K trade is that the lines that you draw on the daily, you can see on the 4-hour, it is there. Okay, let's say I go to 60 days, you can see the line is there. If you go on to the weekly, yeah, the line is still there. Okay, I think on the current historical charts, I believe that if you draw it on one time frame, you don't see it on the next time frame, or the higher time frame or lower time frame for that matter. Right, so this is basically your charting platform in a nutshell, very quickly. I think you can self-discover, it's not hard. Most of it is already quite intuitive. Everything is there.